My wife and I were coming home from a mission trip out in Texas. It had been a long day. It was about an 8.5 hour drive. We're pulling a camper behind us. Halfway through, my back starts hurting. First symptom other than the backache I noticed was the color of my urine was coffee colored, dark with blood in it. Of course, I'm trying to go see a doctor, find out what's going on. I finally did get to see a urologist. I'm thinking kidney stone or something, and he kind of panicked and said, "No, this is not kidney stone, it's not my field. I think it's leukemia. We're going to send you back to your doctor for a blood test." And sure enough, it confirmed leukemia. That's when I got into the system, got to meet Dr. Avery, and he said, if you hadn't have come in, you'd had less than a month to live. Well, that got my attention real quick, and he says, "But we know how to treat this." And that's when he said, "We're going to put you in the hospital for about 6 weeks." I really felt a level of confidence because the hospital, the Montgomery Cancer Center, the other, even my own personal physician, were all interlinked together, communicating. So it wasn't just an immediate team, it was the whole system. It's like all of these pieces came together and were focused on me. That's the feeling that I received. The first day, when I went to the Montgomery Cancer Center there in Prattville, I'm coming into the doorway with my walker, and you're greeted with a smile, you're greeted with friendliness, but from that moment on, you were in the hands of the Montgomery Cancer Center. And everybody was making sure you knew where you needed to go, whatever you needed to have was done. They would get to know you and greet you by your name and know what was going on with you. And so you just felt that confidence. This is an extended part of my family. As I was receiving treatment there at the Montgomery Cancer Center, we would have volunteers that would come in and make you comfortable when you got there and provide snacks for us and sometimes just come visit with us. So I began to think, I'd kind of like to be a volunteer. So as I was nearing the end of my care, I asked the administrator that I was interested in becoming a volunteer. And she said, "We were going to talk to you." And so I began the process and became a volunteer. There's just something about, as a volunteer, you know that you are there for that patient entirely. Everything is about them. As I have the opportunity, I pray for my patients that I interact with. I asked our volunteer coordinator if it was okay if I had a notebook that I would write the patients' names in that I want to add to my prayer list. And she said, "Well, do you want to see mine?" So yeah, that was very acceptable. And I do that as I get to know the patients. I'll keep a prayer list going for them and all. From the very first day it was diagnosed, and now even today, when I go in for a quarterly checkup or something like that, they're still caring for you. And so it's a joy to be a part of that as a volunteer now. As part of my journey to hope, I wrote the book, Journey to Hope, which it's not necessarily about my journey, it's about hope and what hope is and how we can overcome challenges to hope, the stages we go through. And I also had a friend suggest to me that I do the podcast that I have called Our Journey to Hope. And I try to strike that balance with spiritual and secular to help people when they are challenged. Hope is such an incredible thing for us.